ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Today, the game is different.
I want to gamble. Gambling is a very serious business. Is that clear?
Welcome to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you here, deep from the swamps of Jersey. We got a great show coming up for you. Phil Mickelson is one of the most controversial athletes in the sports world today. Controversies seem to follow Mickelson throughout his career, up to and including a couple of weeks ago when he pulled out of the PGA Championship because of his remarks about the Saudi Golf League. Well, he made those comments to the author of an explosive new book entitled Phil, a rip-roaring and unauthorized biography of golf's most colorful superstar, written by Alan Shipnuck. This book is making news all around the country, and coming up, we are going to talk to the author himself, Alan Shipnuck. His new book documents the incredible career of Phil Mickelson, from his controversial statements to his gambling debts, and including an insider trading situation Mickelson found himself in. Coming up, I'm talking with the author, Alan Shipnuck. So stick around. We'll be right back with House of Cards. Hey, this is Dave Weishuttle from House of Cards with your House of Cards gaming report for the week of August 21st, 2023. BetMGM, MGM Resorts, and Borgata in Atlantic City announced the launch of Dual Play Roulette. In collaboration with Evolution Gaming, this game allows the players at the physical table in the casino and online players to participate in the same roulette game. If they're in New Jersey, online players can access the game either through BetMGM or the Borgata Casino apps. This is the first Evolution Dual Play game at an MGM property in North America. Caesars Casino Michigan is now Caesars Palace Casino Michigan. The name change is part of Caesars Entertainment effort to ramp up their online casino platform and make it distinct from the Casino Sportsbook app, which features a much smaller online casino platform. The new Caesars Palace Casino has an expanded gaming library and also a direct connection to the Caesars Rewards program. Caesars plans to make this move in all 6 states that it has an online casino platform. And finally, the American Gaming Association announced their Gaming Hall of Fame class of 2023. This year's inductees are Bill Anatubby, governor of the Chickasaw Nation; Robert Mayo-Dunsky, former CEO of American Gaming Systems; Jim Murrin, former CEO of MGM Resorts International; and Ellen Whittemore, executive vice president, general counsel, and secretary of Wynn Resorts. Congratulations to all the inductees this year. Have any news or tips regarding casinos, gaming, or legislation? Send us an email at newsroom@houseofcardsradio.com and follow us on Twitter at HOC Radio.
You're listening to the House of Cards.
Whoa! I think we got a show.
Oh, yeah, we got a show.
We definitely got a show.
Oh, yeah, there's a show. Hey, it's all about ratings, baby, and we got them.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you. When it comes to colorful athletes, Phil Mickelson has to be at the top of the list. Seems like Mickelson combines incredible talent on the links with a knack for finding controversy at every stage of his career. And an incredible new book documents his rise to one of the greatest and one of the most controversial athletes in the last few decades. The book is called Phil, a rip-roaring and unauthorized biography of golf's most colorful superstar. And in the last couple of weeks, it has gotten a lot of attention. And we are lucky to have the author Alan Shipnuck with us to talk about it. Alan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
First off, congratulations. It's an amazing book. I really enjoyed reading it. And you're a journalist covering golf and the PGA for a long time, and you saw up close the rise of Phil Mickelson. And in the book, you actually said it was a project 20 years in the making. What prompted you to write the book at this time? When did you come to the decision that this would be the right time to tell the Phil Mickelson story?
Yeah, my first year covering the PGA Tour was 1994, and that was Phil's second full season. So I've been tracking him pretty much the entirety of his professional career. And I've always been drawn to Phil. He's such a charismatic performer, and he's also he's a great interview. He has a very sharp needle. He's very smart. Probably not quite as smart as he thinks he is, but has an opinion on everything. Yeah, and so I've always been, and more than any other sort of modern golf superstar, he saw the value in reporters and kind of let them in. Yeah. So I've been lucky to see Phil in a lot of different settings, and I just had a lot of material squirreled away, I guess you could say. And it was really when COVID hit, and I wasn't traveling. There was no access for reporters at PGA Tour events, and just said, this would be a hell of a time to work on a book. And so I started making phone calls, and just everyone else was home and bored as well. So I was able to get an incredible number of golfers and caddies and agents and other people on the phone, and in a pretty compressed period of time, I'm made a tremendous amount of progress. So that, it's always been percolating, but it was really COVID that got me motivated.
Now, Mickelson is a person that's always in the news. I'm a golf fan, and it seems like I'm either reading or hearing about him in some kind of way. However, I never knew about the environment he grew up in. I mean, family was and is very important to him, and it seems like he had a very special relationship with his father, and especially his grandfather. I know he presented the 18th hole flags to his grandfather after all of his wins, which didn't make a future caddy of his very happy, which is a great story in the book. But how did they influence Mickelson growing up?
Yeah, I mean, that was actually fun for me because, like I said, I kind of picked up Phil once he was fully formed, as a young adult. And so to go back and trace all the history of, this patriarch, Al Santos, his grandfather, who was a Pebble Beach caddy and a fisherman, and really lived the immigrant dream of becoming sort of this extremely successful entrepreneur and taking care of his family. And it was, Al played a lot of golf with Phil when he's a little boy, and that was a special relationship. And it's kind of become this piece of folklore that Phil's dad built this backyard putting green for him, and when Phil was 9 years old, and that's really how he mastered the short game, was just endless repetition by himself in the backyard, and sometimes in these competitions against his dad. Mm-hmm. And so it was neat to bring all that to life. And even the San Diego junior golf scene was so vibrant. It just, obviously the weather's perfect year round, but more than that, there's just a really committed group of volunteers and adults who poured their life into creating this infrastructure. And so many great players have come out of San Diego. And so Phil was chasing some of their ghosts, and he had some contemporaries who were really great players, and then he inspired a whole generation behind them. So getting into all that old stuff was really fun. Like in the chapter about, I don't think there's any doubt that Phil's the greatest college golfer of all time.
Sure.
That the chapter when he's at Arizona State it's kind of a riot. It's sort of like Animal House meets Follow the Sun, and reliving his U.S. amateur victory and the 1991 Walker Cup. Like there's this really colorful stuff there. So it was a blast to go through and kind of excavate the old history of Phil.
Well, let me ask you about his time in Arizona State and being an amateur. I guess, we started to see the first signs of what Phil Mickelson would be as a pro. I mean, he displayed incredible talent, but doing and saying controversial things while playing the game. I mean, you talked about in Ireland at the Walker Cup, there was a ball hit into a crowd, and he says that's not where you want to be because the Irish women aren't too attractive, and that got a lot of press. Was that the first indication to a lot of people that Mickelson may say things that would garner a lot of attention in the media?
Yeah, there's always been some rascal in Phil Mickelson, and he's a mischief maker and a pot stirrer, and I mean that thing at the Walker Cup became an actual international incident.
Yeah,
he had to go. He had to disembark from the team bus and film an apology that was being demanded by the Irish consulate. And I mean, it's funny, but in the moment, he thought he might have torpedoed all his potential endorsement deals. And inevitably, that becomes the key match in the entire Walker Cup. Mm-hmm. Phil singles, and it comes down to the last hole, and he misses the green, and he's on the short side on this downhill hard pan lie, and he hits one of the greatest and most memorable shots of his career to win the match and clinch the Walker Cup for the United States. So Phil's just always in the middle of everything, and he just loves to stick his nose in there. And that goes back to a pretty early age and obviously continues to this day.
Now, as a journalist covering Mickelson for a lot of years, was he open and honest with you, or did he say things to get a rise out of people in and out of the golf world?
Both. Phil's a master manipulator of the media, and he rarely opens his mouth without an agenda. And he's always working an angle, working an edge, and so. But he's also fun. He can be playful, and he has an extremely sharp needle. So everything he says, you have to take with a grain of salt. But yeah, I mean, he's a great quote. Not everything stands up to the fact checking, but it's colorful material for sure.
Well, let me ask you about what he says to the media. I remember one story you relayed about the Ryder Cup when Tom Watson was the captain of the team. Mickelson had a press conference and discussed his feelings of how the team was run and how things could be better for Team USA. I mean, he casted it in terms saying, I'm not saying anything against Tom Watson as a bad captain. I'm just saying Paul Azinger did it better. And eventually a lot of things he was hoping that would happen with the team actually did come to fruition. Does Mickelson see the press as a tool he can use to affect change?
Oh, 1,000,000%. I mean, he likes to think of himself as an agent of change, as kind of this big strategic thinker, as this maverick, this iconoclast, and there's some truth in all of that. But he's, that 2014 Ryder Cup is interesting because he did kind of throw Tom Watson under the bus in front of the world at this press conference. Was it fueled by personal vendetta because Watson had benched him? Definitely. Mm-hmm. But it was also Phil was tired of losing the Ryder Cup, and he rightfully pointed out that the whole U.S. side was disorganized. There was no continuity from captain to captain, and they were kind of starting over willy-nilly every 2 years, whereas the European side had a whole plan and how they groomed and how they picked their captains and their vice captains, and it put the U.S. at a real structural disadvantage. And so by taking this very public stand, Phil knew that he was going to create the controversy and the momentum for change that was needed. And did it besmirch Tom Watson's reputation? Certainly. Mm-hmm. But the U.S. has now won, after 2 decades of futility, the U.S. has won 2 of the last 3 Ryder Cups, and it looks like they're probably going to dominate the next decade or beyond. And everything that Phil asked for and got has played a role in that. And so you have to tip your cap to him. He puts his neck on the chopping block, sometimes for the greater good, sometimes it's for his own personal benefit, but he's willing to put it out there where, most athletes and celebrities and even everyday humans they want to stay in the safety of the herd. So Phil's definitely, he's definitely not afraid of controversy. He's not afraid to try and pull the levers of power to get what he wants.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards.
With costs going up, Adam & Eve is the best deal around. With 50% off a sexy adult product at adamandeve.com. That's 50% off right now when you point the camera on your smartphone at the code on the screen. Don't get up. Just open your camera and point it at the screen. Hurry! You'll also get 10 free gifts, including free discreet shipping at checkout. This is your chance to get more for less. So scan now for 50% off plus 10 free gifts from adamandeve.com.
Drizzly makes it easy to shop a huge selection of beer, wine, and liquor from wherever I am. I just open the app, find what I want, and it's at my door in under 60 minutes.
Drizzly. Ding dong, Drizzly.
You're listening to House of Cards. Check out our website at houseofcardsradio.com.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishottle with you. This portion of House of Cards is brought to you by SCCG Management, delivering technology-driven capability, expertise, and customer and business value to the gaming industry for over 30 years. For more information, go to sccgmanagement.com. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with Alan Shipnuck, author of the incredible new book, Phil, a rip-roaring and unauthorized biography of golf's most colorful superstar. Well, speaking of neck on the chopping block, do you think this present situation we have with regard to the Saudi Golf League is just Mickelson doing what he did during the Ryder Cup press conference, but taking it to a new level? I mean, do you think he's really interested in this new Saudi Golf League, or did he see that as a way to force the PGA Tour to make changes, like changes in regard to prize money, media rights, and money for the Players' Impact Program? Because it seems like he was trying to force those changes, but I don't think he really thought the blowback would be this big. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good summary. Phil he's engaged in this sort of civil disobedience. If beyond just the Ryder Cup. At the 2018 U.S. Open when he smacked a moving putt at Shinnecock, and again, was that petulance because he was playing bad? Certainly, but it was also a public statement that the USGA had lost control of the golf course again, and a lot of players were privately cheering for Phil because it really put a spotlight on the USGA had just taken the course too far in the setup. And so, the Saudi seduction is really interesting because no one's going to deal with the Saudis if money's not a factor, and they're offering insane amounts of it, and clearly that's tempting to Phil. But you're right that there are these other issues at play, and Phil's engaged behind the scenes in a lot of battles with PGA Tour over the years, and he's rarely won, and it's bothered him. And suddenly the Saudis gave him this leverage he did not have before that, and so he was working both sides of the street very hard. And some of the things were just you might say, were just in his own interest, like if you could get a giant payday from the Saudis, but at the same time he was also trying to affect change in how the tour conducts its business in a way that would have benefited a lot of players. So, but he kind of overplayed his hand. Because I think what he failed to really understand is that Saudi Arabia is a very emotional issue for many people, and especially most Americans. They did, it's the birthplace of 15 of the 9/11 hijackers. They did assassinate a Washington Post journalist who was a resident of the United States. I mean, they are bad actors on the world stage. And so Phil thought he was just being this cagey businessman who was working both sides of the street. But the Saudis are toxic and their money is dirty. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he understood quite the reaction that people are going to have to all of that. And so, and then the other thing, for him to acknowledge their atrocities and to me, and then sort of so casually dismiss them. Yeah. That was shocking, but I think what really got him in trouble with the tour and his colleagues, it wasn't the words, it was his actions, that he was actually sort of acting as a shadow commissioner and in all these secret dealings and helping the Saudis establish this competitor, the PGA Tour, because if the Saudi Tour prospers and they can get a big TV contract and they can get big corporate support and they can take some of the stars, all of that has a very negative impact on the PGA Tour. I mean, it's siphoning off money that would go to the PGA Tour. And so in some ways, Phil's taken money out of the pockets of his colleagues, and that's why they were so mad at him. It had nothing to do with the human rights violations in Saudi Arabia, is that he was affecting their livelihood. And so it's a really interesting issue that's still playing out because the ground continues to shift, and we don't know what's going to happen between the tour and Saudi Arabia, and it's probably headed for the courts. So and that's why I honestly believe why Phil's not here at this PGA. He's just trying to buy time to see how all this stuff is going to resolve itself. And if he showed up here, he would have had to declare his allegiance to either the Saudis or to the PGA Tour, and I don't think he knows which way he's going to go yet. So it's better to stay underground.
I know he's claiming in the press that his comments to you about the Saudi Golf Tour were off the record, but given your account that you laid out in the book, it's hard to believe that Mickelson didn't know he was speaking on the record with regard to his comments. Do you feel he knew he was speaking on the record when he made those comments to you?
Oh, 1,000,000%. I mean, I had approached Phil 3 times face-to-face and asked him to do interviews for this book. Mm-hmm. And this started the 2020 PGA Championship and carried over into Pebble Beach in early 21, and he thought about it and ultimately he declined, which is fine. That's his prerogative. But then, late in the process of me writing this book, his lawyer reached out and they made this offer for me to become a consultant as Phil was gearing up to take on the tour. And that was really quizzical. I mean, it's a glaringly obvious conflict of interest. I cannot take Phil's money while I'm writing a book about him. It makes no sense. So obviously I declined that, but it tells you, they're where their head is. They're trying to buy hearts and minds. The manipulation has begun. And so then Phil reached out to me and said he wanted to follow up on that and have a conversation. And given the context of me asking him for these interviews and that I'm deep into writing this book, like every syllable he utters is going straight in the book, and he knows that.
Yeah.
Unless we come to some sort of agreement. And if he had asked to go off the record, I would have pushed back really hard because this was my one chance to talk to him for the book. So for him to say otherwise was disappointing, and it was false, and I think it's revealing of his character in certain ways.
Mm-hmm. Now, some are saying that he got involved with the Saudi Golf League because he needed money because of gambling debts. He also sold his airplane, which is another thing people are starting to point to and say he needs money because of these debts. In your book and through your research, it was figured that Mickelson lost about $40 million from betting over a 4-year period. I mean, one story you documented in the book was that he was in Vegas with a bunch of friends who were heading to the sports book to place a bet, and he told them they better place their bets first, because when he placed his bet, that would move the line, which is incredible. I mean, was that an exaggeration on Mickelson's part, or was that an indication of how much money he was throwing down on sports betting?
Yeah, he was swimming in very deep waters. And, the gambling's always been part of Phil's brand. Like, everyone knows he's a gambler. He's talked about it openly. And, he used to call him the Dan Patrick Show and give his football picks. And, he's been very open about it through the years. So, but the question was, like, how much money are we talking about? And through my reporting, I was able to get a snapshot of it. And it's a lot of money. Yeah. I mean, you're millions and millions and millions of dollars. And so, and that's just what we know about. We don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
And, he certainly made a fortune in his career, but it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And I think it's an open question, like, how much financial pressure is Phil feeling? Because, even in the breakup with Jim Mackay as caddy, money was at the root of that. Bones felt he was owed $900,000 that Phil wouldn't make good on. And, the Billy Walters insider trading case, part of that comes down to Phil selling these stocks so he can pay back this gambling debt to Billy Walters. Like, if Phil has as much money as we assumed he did, why wouldn't he just, like, wire him the money? Why did he have to engage in these other things? And why is he not paying back Bones? Mm-hmm. And, Phil he sold Air Phil, his Gulfstream, which he loved like a fourth child. And that raised some eyebrows. No one ever saw that, because he just loved that plane so much. And so we don't know everything about where Phil is financially, but these snapshots and suggest that, that maybe this Saudi money is more of a necessity than we could have imagined.
I'm glad you brought up Billy Walters. I mean, it seems like a lot of the problems that Mickelson encountered with regard to betting and the stock market starts with his association with Billy Walters. Who is Billy Walters, and what was his relationship to Phil Mickelson?
Billy Walters is a legend in Las Vegas. He was really the first guy to bring computer analysis into betting in the 1980s. And he had this syndicate, and they were cleaning up in Vegas. And he was also, he's the kind of guy who would observe a wheel bias in a roulette wheel, and he would spend the next 36 hours cleaning out the casino and walk out of there with, $3.6 million, which is a famous, something that really happened with Billy. And he loves golf. He's been a regular in Pro-Ams on the PGA Tour, and he loves to bet on the golf course. It was almost inevitable that him and Phil would somehow connect with each other, and they became friends, and Billy became a mentor to Phil. They became golf buddies, but they also started betting together, and it was a mutually beneficial relationship. And then, Phil suddenly had access to the mind of this legendary gambler who's claimed to have only one losing year across 4 decades. And then Billy got access to Phil's channels for how he was placing the bets, because Billy would have so much success he would sometimes get cut off. And so they were placing these bets together, but sometimes Phil wanted to bet something that Billy Walters thought was a turkey, and he would pass, but he would still place the bet because knowing it would lose would keep him in good graces with the bookies, right? And, but over time, he was fronting the money, and Phil was losing these bets, and Phil wound up owing Billy a substantial amount of money, into the millions. And so that was the bet he had to pay off, and that where this insider trading case comes in. And Phil was never charged with a crime. It's complex, and I lay it all out in the book, but he was adjacent to the crime, and so he was named as a relief defendant, and he had to give back $1 million in so-called ill-gotten gains, which is my favorite term. Yeah. And Billy was charged with crimes. He was convicted, and he went down the river, and he was sentenced to federal prison. And he always felt like if Phil had testified on his behalf, it would have made a difference. Whether that's true, it could have kept him out of jail. We don't know, but Phil had made it clear through lawyers he was going to take the Fifth Amendment, and he was not going to testify. And so, in Billy's world, loyalty is the coin of the realm, and that was the ultimate betrayal. So he's still mad at Phil, and Billy. It's in my book, and it's starting to leak out. He's writing his own book. It's about his life, which is incredibly colorful, but there's certainly going to be some chapters about Phil Mickelson. Sure. And my intention was to write a very fair, balanced look at a very complicated person, but Billy Walters is not a trained journalist. He's looking to get a scalp. He's looking for vengeance here. So Phil is rightfully worried about that book, and I think that's part of this this period of reflection where he's gone underground. He's trying to sort out all these things that are swirling around him.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards.
Starts at 20, bet slip is empty. I gotta call KG.
KG, what up?
I got nothing for you, Fox.
Come on. What you got, huh?
It's spa day, Jamie. You don't interrupt spa day.
Okay. Gracie, what's up? I need some tips.
Jamie, you want a tip?
Yeah. No. Come on, somebody. Jalen, what's up, man? You want a tip? Yeah.
You really want a tip?
I really need some tips.
Don't call somebody on live TV. Jamie Foxx.
Well, you answered. Have other friends anyway.
Marshawn, Barry, holla at me.
Hey, what's up with it, Fox?
Listen, I need some tips.
I like L.A.
L.A.?
No, Dallas. Dallas not the
Dallas?
fit. We gotta get to Miami. How about Detroit? Nah, Barry over there.
I'm gonna call y'all right back. Vanessa, I need your help.
I got a tip for you. Always go with your gut.
I like that. Going with my gut.
Let's go with our gut.
With costs going up, Adam and Eve is the best deal around. With 50% off a sexy adult product at adamandeve.com. That's 50% off right now when you point the camera on your smartphone at the code on the screen. Don't get up. Just open your camera and point it at the screen. Hurry! You'll also get 10 free gifts, including free discreet shipping at checkout. This is your chance to get more for less. So scan now for 50% off plus 10 free gifts from adamandeve.com.
Every 40 seconds, a kid is reported missing. Find the Children provides educational material that teaches your kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs are very successful in bringing kids back home to their family. You can help protect our kids and bring the missing kids home safe by donating your unwanted car, truck, SUV, or van, running or not. We guarantee you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast free pickup, usually within 24 hours. Over 2,000 kids are reported missing every day. Call now to donate your vehicle. Donate now to bring these kids home safe.
Call 800-934-2260. 800-934-2260. 800-934-2260.
You're listening to House of Cards.
Your Majesty, the royal wrestlers await.
I'll bet on the little guy. How much? 3,000 guineas, 2 geese, and a duck. That's a foul bet.
Welcome back to House of Cards. Dave Weishuttle with you. House of Cards is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. For those of you just joining us, I am talking with Alan Shipnuck, author of the incredible new book, Phil, a rip-roaring and unauthorized biography of golf's most colorful superstar. You know, I found it amazing with regard to the insider trading case how close Mickelson came to jail time. I mean, if the case was heard at a different time, it was quite possible that Mickelson could have seen some time in jail if he was convicted.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And it's one of the, in a life full of great escapes, it's one of the biggest ones, you know, because without getting in the weeds on this, there was these two court decisions that kind of bracketed this case. And the first one came down as investigators were putting their case together against Billy Walters, and basically said someone who's a secondhand, gets the information secondhand, in this case as Phil did, if they don't know the exact source of the relationship, or they don't know where the information came or how it might be tainted, they can't be charged with a crime. And then 2 years later, the U.S. Supreme Court overruled that and said, "Well, not so fast. You know, you're still culpable." And so, but Phil's case came due right in between these two decisions. So if it had come up before December of 2014 or after December 2016, when these two court cases came through, Phil would have been in a much more precarious position. So it was really dumb luck that these other court cases played out the way they did, just as federal investigators were putting this whole thing together. So it's a fascinating chapter in Phil's life, and you know, in this book.
Another case that Phil Mickelson's name came up in is the case of the Detroit bookie Dandy Don DiSerrano. In fact, during the plea agreement in the case, there was a quote that said, quote, "money laundering of funds from PM," unquote. What was Mickelson's involvement in that case?
Yeah, I mean, outside the lines, you know, they had these documents that indicated that was Phil who had sent by wire almost $3 million to this gambling associate in San Diego, and this guy wound up being convicted for tax and wire fraud crimes, and he went to jail as well. And so, you know, there's these really shady characters that are in Phil's life, and there's a lot of money changing hands. And so it does beg the question, like, how deep did the gambling go? We know a little bit of it. You know, some of these things have leaked out in court documents and trial transcripts, but there's a lot we don't know. And it does kind of color this whole Saudi seduction. Like, is how much need are we talking about for a guy who's number 2 all time on the tour's money list, and who, you know, made a killing in the endorsement market. So it's a fascinating subtext to this whole book.
You know, given all these events and all the controversial things that he has said and done, and you know what he continues to do, how is he viewed by the other players on the PGA Tour?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, Phil's always been the lightning rod, and some players really respect him for speaking truth to power. He rubs some of them the wrong way. Some are amused by him, some can't stand him. I mean, he's just a polarizing character, and you know, all that's in the book. You know, I wanted to write a really balanced look at this very larger than life personality. So all of Phil's philanthropies in there, all his random acts of kindness with other players and fans, his mentorship of a lot of young guys on the tour. Like, I was happy to celebrate all of Phil's virtues, and there are many, but there has been a lot of controversy, and there has been a lot of messiness, and that's all in the book too. And you know, there's a lot of voices from the tour, and some are supportive, and there's some detractors. And again, it's just, I think that balance was important to present to the readers, and they'll make up their own mind, you know, what they really think about who Phil is.
Well, I want to kind of end on a nice note, and one thing that has remained constant throughout Mickelson's professional career has been his wife, Amy. By all accounts, they have a great relationship. Given all his ups and downs in his career, what has it meant for him to have Amy with him throughout it all?
Yeah, she's been his North Star. You know, everyone in the game loves Amy, and she's a very skilled, you know, de facto publicist because he's just charming and chatty with reporters and everybody in the game. And even, you know, when Phil would play bad, he'd stomp away. In his childish fashion, you know, Amy would give reporters good material, and so it helped soften Phil's image for sure. So, yeah, she's been a huge part of her story, and, you know, her cancer battle was well known and helped galvanize the whole tour community and led to a tremendous amount of awareness and fundraising around breast cancer. So, I mean, Phil is polarizing, but Amy is not. Everybody loves Amy. And so there's some fun stuff in the book about her as well.
Well, I knew this was going to be one of those interviews that I'm going to run out of time on. I didn't get to the high points of his career. I didn't get to his relationship with Tiger or his caddy. And, hey, there's even a story about the Toledo Mudhens in the book. So check this out. But the name of the book is Phil, the Rip-Roaring and Unauthorized Biography of Golf's Most Colorful Superstar. Alan, where can people buy the book? Is it basically everywhere? Amazon, bookstores? It's out now, right?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, ideally, there's a local independent bookstore in your town you want to support because you know we're trying to keep those bookstores going. But for sure, it's on Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, anywhere you buy your books. And I did read the audio version, which was really fun, and it, you know, brought a certain amount of passion to that. So if you like audiobooks, I think that's a good listen. But yeah, it's pretty much everywhere at this point.
Alan Shipnuck, author of Phil, the Rip-Roaring and Authorized Biography of Golf's Most Colorful Superstar. Thanks so much for coming on and talking about the book with us. It's an incredible read, and I urge everyone to pick up a copy. Thanks so much for talking about it with us.
Well, thanks for having me. It was a great conversation. I appreciate that. I appreciate your interest.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards. Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards. This portion of House of Cards is brought to you by SCCG Management, delivering technology-driven capability, expertise, and customer and business value to the gaming industry for over 30 years. For more information, go to sccgmanagement.com.
It's a casino. People gotta win sometimes.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Beating the House is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Slots, table games, live dealer games, everything you love about Atlantic City and Vegas, all online at BetMGM. Don't wait. Join in the fun now. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Grab a lion's share of the fun at BetMGM.com. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Welcome to another edition of Beating the House. I'm Doug Weishuttle here with Dave Weishuttle. We're going to be crisscrossing the country, North America, sometimes the world, to talk about some of the biggest jackpots that have happened in the casino and lottery industry over the past week. Press releases keep them coming in. We're getting plenty and more and more and more each and every week as we talk about the different jackpots of the different casinos, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, it's great.
This week, I was all set to start off with a lottery story.
Well, the big story was the lottery. Was it $1.5 billion won in Florida? And at press time, we still don't know who won.
I'm not even talking about
not even talking about that one. Huh?
No, we had a big lottery story that even surpassed that deal in terms of historic.
Oh, okay. We have a history-making
one. But as soon as I was ready to start talking about that one, Las Vegas had to step in. We had Aria Las Vegas starting off our Beating the House segment this week. Right. Megabucks. The IGT Megabucks slot machine hit again.
I've seen that one, yeah.
This was actually a really, really interesting one. This is a new version of it. It's the Megabucks Gold Forge slots machine.
Okay.
This is at Aria Las Vegas.
All right.
We have a $5 wager paying off $10,159,321.
Wow.
$10.1 million.
A $10 million win.
Yes.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Still not the biggest this year from a Megabucks slot machine. We have back in July, a Las Vegas resident hit a megabucks jackpot for $10,488,000.
Wow.
So that's the largest this year. This is the second largest.
So when you go into a casino, look for megabucks.
Stop
wasting your time and just go right to the megabucks machine.
Look for the IGT megabucks slot machine. They seem to pay out. As a matter of fact, I remember when megabucks first started, the slots, when they first started distributing them, IGT, it was a Canadian slot. I didn't see them too often in the United States.
Okay.
It's now all over the place in the United States, and they're kicking ass, I should say, with all these payouts here. Megabucks Gold Forge slots.
Wow. Okay.
At Aria. I'm not sure if there are any on the East Coast yet.
Well,
I haven't seen
seen
a Gold Forge slot Megabucks machine yet.
Okay.
So, but you know what? You just said it too. I've never looked for the megabucks because really we're just starting to see some of these jackpots kick out.
Well, I'm going to start looking for the megabucks.
Yes.
2 $10 million jackpots is ridiculously good. Stick around. We'll be right back with more House of Cards.
Attention. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, watch this urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by hiring 87,000 new agents to garnish your paycheck and put liens on homes and businesses. They can even seize your bank account. The IRS calls it enforced compliance, and now they have the manpower to get you. Penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily. So call One Stop Tax Relief Shop and get the IRS off your back. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. And no other tax shop gets you more or faster approvals. One Stop Tax Relief has resolved thousands of cases since 2014 and saved clients millions of dollars. Call now for a free consultation. Connect with tax professionals who get the IRS off your back.
Call 800-605-0688. 800-605-0688.
One Stop Tax Relief Shop.
You know what I'm saying? For everybody. Oh. Game starts at 20, bet slip is empty. I gotta call KG. KG, what up?
I got nothing for you, Fox.
Come on. What you got, huh?
It is spa day, Jamie. You don't interrupt spa day.
Okay. Gracie, what's up? I need some tips.
Jamie, you want a tip?
Yeah. No. Come on, somebody. Jalen, what's up, man?
You want a tip?
Yeah.
You really want a tip?
I really need some tips.
Don't call somebody on live TV, Jamie Foxx.
Well, you answered. Have other friends anyway. Marshawn, Barry, holla.
Jamie Foxx. Hey, what's up with it, Fox?
Listen, I need some tips.
I like L.A.
L.A.?
No, Dallas.
Dallas
not the
Dallas?
We gotta get to Miami. How about Detroit? Nah, Barry over there.
You know what? I'm gonna call y'all right now. Vanessa, I need your help.
I got a tip for you. Always go with your gut.
I like that. Going with my gut. Let's go with our gut.
It's a casino. People gotta win sometimes.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Beating the House is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Slots, table games, live dealer games, everything you love about Atlantic City and Vegas, all online at BetMGM. Don't wait. Join in the fun now. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Grab a lion's share of the fun at BetMGM.com. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And now we're going to go East Coast. We're going to Virginia.
All
the
right.
Virginia Lottery. This was going to be the top jackpot of the show until Aria happened last night. We have Byron B. of Virginia Beach playing the Virginia Lottery online. He was playing the Mega Money Jackpot on the Jackpot Spectacular online instant.
Okay.
$1,817,588 as a Mega Money jackpot online.
Wow.
The largest prize ever won in an online instant game in the United States.
I'm impressed with the Virginia Lottery. I mean, there's a lot of winners in Virginia Lottery. I don't know what they're doing down there, but
They have some really, really good games there.
And by
they
the
keep
way,
adding more and more.
What's with the Mega name? Anytime a game has a Mega in front of it, we just had a story, the Aria, the Mega Bucks.
Yep.
Now this one's Mega Money.
Yep.
What's the
Well,
Mega? Just look for Mega.
The jackpot's called Mega Money Jackpot.
All
The
right.
game is Jackpot Spectacular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so...
I'm still just looking for the word Mega.
Anytime you see Mega,
Yeah.
you know,
Go-
it's hyperbolic or hyperbolic. Hyperbole. Hyperbole. So
You went off the rails on that one.
yes,
huh?
I know I did a little bit there. But anyway, it's early. We're taping early. So we're now going back out to Nevada. We're going to Wynn Las Vegas. We got another big jackpot to talk about there, too.
All right.
Out-of-state visitor at the Wynn Las Vegas just won on a $750 bet. Panda Magic slot. $1,614,750.09.
Panda Magic.
It was on 11 a.m. in the morning.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
You don't normally see
he had
too
a
many.
good rest of the day.
Well, you know what? That could have been the end of his day.
That's true.
It's
Yeah,
Vegas.
that's
They
true.
could be out all night doing
You
this
know
stuff.
what?
They're
Have
24
a
hours.
good lunch and take a nap,
Or have a
something
great
like that.
dinner.
Yeah.
If it's the end of your day, it's dinner. So you
Yeah.
go to bed after that. But 11 a.m. in the morning,
But we had
1.6 million.
I remember that name, Panda Magic. We had that one time before.
Yeah, it's paid out in the past
Yeah.
before. I don't know if it was the same casino, Wynn Las Vegas. We don't normally hit Wynn Las Vegas
Mm-hmm.
too often. Matter of fact, Wynn is kind of interesting. It's very rare you see them announce a jackpot.
Really?
Yeah, they have a lot of high rollers there. Now they're starting to do more media releases on the jackpots, but prior to, maybe a couple of months ago, they weren't releasing too many jackpot announcements.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting that they're doing more and more now. We're going to flip back over to the East Coast again. We're going to Boston.
All right.
Actually, Everett.
Yes, Everett.
Everett, Massachusetts. It's just north of Boston.
Yes, it's Encore Boston Harbor.
Yes.
So
Encore Boston Harbor Resort.
they share a harbor with Boston.
Yes.
Although Boston is like I don't know, is it even a mile to the city line from Everett to from the casino to
it's about
Boston?
That. It's
I don't
about
know.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to cross a bridge anyway. So.
Do you really?
Yeah,
I
you got to
guess
go over
do.
the Zakim Bridge.
Yeah.
And then you got to take some weird Route 99 off the bridge to get to it. So, but we're going to Encore Boston Harbor. We have a quick hit here. We have a $735,604 jackpot playing blackjack with a $5 Super 4 side bet.
Always do the side bet. That's where the big money is. All these table games, just do the side bet. You know, the Pai Gow poker, the blackjack where you can do your side bets things, and the all the other games that have side bets. Do the side bet. It's worth it.
Yeah, it always kicks in.
Yeah.
Every so often, if you feel the urge, if you got the $5 to trigger it, I mean, this one was a $5 bonus bet.
Yeah.
Some are $1. Take a look at the table game you're playing because they range in value from different table games. This was Super 4 Blackjack, so we've seen that before too. Matter of fact, it's over in the live casinos in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a whole bunch of different places, but that always pays up pretty well. We're now going to the Seneca Allegheny Resort and Casino for a jackpot.
Okay.
We haven't done one from Seneca Allegheny.
Where exactly are they?
New York.
New York. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, where in New York? I mean, the kind of the Niagara region kind of
No,
thing?
no, they're a little further. I mean, when we were doing House of Cards, we worked with Seneca in Olean, New York, which is right over the border from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, okay.
So they're in that area. They're like in the central Pennsylvania kind of area.
I remember Olean.
Olean, New York, yes.
Olean, New York.
Or Olean, depending on how you want to pronounce it, looking at the spelling.
Is it Olean?
It's Olean.
Okay.
It's Olean.
Right.
Olean.
Yeah.
Olean.
I remember I had to do the hits for you're listening to House of Cards on blah, 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 Olean, New York.
Yep.
Okay.
We've got a $546,389 jackpot playing a $1 Wheel of Fortune Ultimate Sevens slot machine.
Okay, that's one of the many versions of Wheel of Fortune.
One of
right?
the 200 versions.
Wow, 200.
There are
Wow.
over 200
Okay.
versions of it, and
All
now they
right.
have their own casino as well.
Yes, they have their own online branded casino in New Jersey.
Right now, it's only in New Jersey, but they are expanding
Yeah,
that. It looks
yeah.
like maybe Pennsylvania may be next for the Wheel of Fortune online casino. Don't
Okay.
know yet, but right now. It's just in New Jersey. Actually, it's a very cool casino. It's not just Wheel of Fortune games. There's other games.
I see the ads for it, but I haven't.
You
tried
can't
it
miss
yet.
those ads.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
got
no.
was it Vanna White in it?
Yeah, Vanna White. She's the face of Wheel of Fortune online casino in New Jersey.
Well, this resident, it was a local from Bath, New York, won the jackpot. She hit 3 Wheel of Fortune symbols on the pay line, which brought the wide area progressive jackpot into play.
Mhm.
The wide area progressive jackpot links machines at casinos across the entire region, all the Seneca casinos.
Okay.
There's at least 4 or 5 of those.
All right.
So combined prize pool, creating a larger jackpot. She hit it and got the $546,000 jackpot.
Wow.
Now we're going back out to Nevada. I'm getting whiplash going back
We're
and
jumping
forth.
all over the place.
Well, I usually put them in descending order of the value.
Oh, you
there's
mean a value?
Yeah, there's a method to my madness here.
Okay,
So,
all right.
we're going to Caesar's Palace, and I think I said this last week too. Every time we do a Caesar's Palace story, it's 2 jackpots.
Oh, you got 2? Oh, they come in pairs.
They come in
Caesars?
pairs all of a
Okay.
sudden. I don't understand it myself, but we know everyone knows Caesar's Palace is celebrating their 57th anniversary. As a matter of fact, August 5th was the actual date of their 57th
Oh,
anniversary.
okay.
That day, a player was in the casino celebrating his own anniversary. He was celebrating a wedding anniversary.
Wow.
He hit a royal flush on Ultimate Texas Hold'em at approximately 1 a.m. on August 7th, 2 days after the actual casino anniversary.
All right.
$242,467. Happy anniversary.
Yeah, that's a great anniversary present.
Day after that, we've got a lucky player playing video poker, $100,320 jackpot.
Wow.
And this was at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night.
Okay.
So it's always a pair.
Yeah, no, it's always comes in good. Hey, that's great. Good for Caesar's Palace.
Yes. Now we're going back out to the East Coast.
Okay.
We got a pair of live casinos
Mhm.
in Pennsylvania.
I've been to the one in Philly.
Yep.
So that's fun.
Well, we got a pair of jackpots, one in Philly, one in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
We're going to start off in Pittsburgh first. We're looking at the Huff and More Puff slot machine. We've got a $140,000, $795 jackpot. It's a grand progressive, which means it links to a whole bunch of different machines in the casino, as well as some of the other casinos that Live runs in the state. So
Wow,
there's
okay.
actually a mini casino, too, by Live, I think.
I have not yet been to a mini casino. What we're talking about here for people listening out there is Pennsylvania has a law where you can have a mini casino, which is a lot smaller than the actual resort-style casino. So I have not been to one of the mini casinos yet.
Well, we're going over to Live Casino Philly now. This is not one of the mini casinos.
No, this one's the big one.
This is a good one here.
It's a biggie.
This isn't a $100,000 jackpot. I usually try and cut it off at $100,000, but I figured this was something to throw in anyway. We have a $1.76 spin, $1.76 bet.
Okay.
On a penny slot machine, which was part of a new reward slot program.
All right.
Guarantees winners from $50,000 to $100,000 for rewards club members.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's an ongoing promotion.
I have a rewards card from Live Casino Philly, so maybe I should go there. Okay, so how much do they win with $1.76?
We have a patron, Ansele. I don't know how to pronounce the name. I'm sorry, Ansele T.
Okay,
that's her last initial T.
All right.
She was the very first winner of the Giant Jackpots promotion.
Wow. Okay.
$1.76 bet. $97,402.
Wow, nice.
But it was the first win under this new program.
Okay,
so
all right.
Congratulations both to the player and Live.
I got to check it out because it's very close to us.
Yes.
It's in Philadelphia, so I have a card, and so maybe I'll try it. And I'll do a $1.76 spin in honor of the first winner here.
And we got a couple press releases. As a matter of fact, one, because of the very first story, is now kind of obsolete. But I'm going to do it anyway because I have it in my notes.
All right.
We got Boyd Gaming in Nevada.
All right.
In the month of July, $32 million in jackpots handed out.
Wow.
In Nevada casinos only for Boyd.
All right.
Now we have the IGT press release. IGT always releases some of the numbers regarding the Wheel of Fortune and Megabucks slot machines. This was before this guy hit.
And we had some jackpots for those Wheel of Fortune and Megabucks.
Well,
jackpots.
this release was put out before this guy hit over at Aria.
All right.
So it's not included in this. We've got the Megabucks slot winner in July 7th for $10,488,000, which I mentioned.
Yeah.
Playing Megabucks Double Diamond Deluxe at Cannery Casino Hotel. That was not in Aria. It was in Cannery Casino.
Okay, so that was the first $10 million
record one. Yeah, that's the record one.
Okay.
And then we have on July 24th, a Wheel of Fortune slots player won $1,286,000 playing Wheel of Fortune Red Hot Sevens.
Okay.
At Michael Gaughan's airport slots at Harry Reid International Airport, which we covered.
Okay.
The $10.4 million, according to the press release, and I think we mentioned this, was the second largest Megabuck jackpot slot win in this year. The 10.4 was not the biggest.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. So.
In April, Megabuck slot player, and I believe we had this one covered too.
Okay.
By the name, I think it was Jesus C.
Okay, yeah.
14 million, 5 million, and change.
Wow.
That's a lot of money there.
Yep.
That was at Atlantis Casino Resort and Spa in Reno.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, you know what? I just realized that's not the one. Jesus C was the 10-4.
Okay.
The 14 was the woman waiting for a cruise.
Oh, okay.
The cruise was canceled. I remember that story. The cruise was canceled, so she ended up playing slots.
All right.
And she ended up winning $14 million.
Wow. Really?
Yeah,
wow.
That's the cruise one. That's why that one stuck out in my head.
Okay.
I had a little note here with a CR next to it. I'm wondering what the hell that was. I have my notes. I'm reading my notes as I'm doing this, and it says cruise. It's cruise.
Okay.
That's
all right.
the cruise winner. And also Wheel of Fortune, according to IGT, 1,100 millionaires so far, and awarded $3.5 billion in jackpots since their launch in 1996.
Wow. Okay.
That's how old that brand is.
96. All right.
That's how old that brand is.
Wow.
So that's it for this week. I mean, we had a lot of good winners here.
Yeah, we had a bunch of them, yeah.
Press releases, keep them coming in, getting more and more each week. Congratulations to all our winners. $100,000 or more we covered this week, but there are a lot of other winners out there that are $100,000. Congratulations to all of them as well.
Well, that'll do it for us this week. I'll see you next time on House of Cards.